Hello viewers, this is Space is Fake here. This is the official Rhetoric versus Space is Fake debate. This video includes commentary from our good friends who restreamed the debate on Dude's channel. Reds, if you feel the need to copyright this, I think you have a real issue because of this, in fact, disclaimer, as well as this video includes a lot of commentary that overtalks both of us, whereas I feel you should have uploaded the original debate because I feel it went well. The fact that you have not uploaded the original debate is pretty telling, and I am disappointed in you. Anyways, enjoy the content, my friends. Have a great evening, and I love you all.
I've never got a thing going in my head like I've got to get this, or like that. No, I've never been like that in my life.
Well, that's good because that's kind of the poison in the mentality. It's if you're feeling like you're in the competition of you have to have that new iPhone.
No, never. I've not got. Jimmy, I've got an old Nokia N95, 16 gig. I've had it 8 years. That's my phone, and I press stop and go. I still don't know how to fucking use it. I don't know how I get in these fucking sites, to be honest with you. I've never done any of this. 10 years since I've been on YouTube posting it.
Sean,
I'm not techie at all.
Sean's going to rematch Red's Rhetoric. He's about to rematch him.
Oh, can somebody play it?
Yeah.
On a Monday night?
Yeah. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah, put it up.
I guess we have to.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. So make sure that there's no echo on it. So, as I said, because we were able to raise it up.
Can we get it louder?
Turn it up a bit now.
Demo Flight 1 from the Saturn V Center observation area. You guys deserve a dumpster fire, so here it is. With me, I have a gentleman who is SIF, otherwise known as Space is Fake. Introduce yourself.
Hey everybody, my name is Space is Fake. You can call me Sean, so it's easier for the debate.
He's already lost.
My channel is Space is Fake. Just regular hangout. Like to hang out and chat about a lot of different topics.
Okay, so basically, here's how this is going to work. Back and forth. You already know the rules. Okay.
Yeah,
so,
I covered that.
Good. Let's start with the very first thing. What is your best piece of evidence to show that the Earth is flat? Go.
Sure. Well, what they present us with a sphere of, can we give, for the sake of debate, can we say that they tell us it's a sphere? You know, we don't have to get into a blade spheroid and things of that nature because then it gets wonky. Is that all right with you?
Going good so far.
I don't think that's going to answer my question.
Yeah. What way to establish
Okay,
those
well,
boundaries?
the way they present the globe Earth is that it's, approximately 4,000 miles radius, which would be about a 24K.
Sean's recorded YouTube videos versus Red's Rhetoric.
The Pythagorean theorem, we do not observe that. It would equate to an equation that's about 8 inches per mile squared, yet we do not observe that in real life. So that's one. The fact that water is flat physically is my main proof that I can go with.
Okay, so let me just ask you a basic question. You do know that disproving one model does not automatically mean that your model is correct, right?
Of course not. No, I'm not saying that proves it's flat. No.
Okay.
But water is measurably flat for basically infinity.
Okay, and what about all the evidence that shows that water is not flat? Like, for example, the observations that I have done.
Sure. Well, I mean, those can be accounted for with it depends on the atmospheric conditions as well as many other factors. But there are many. There's many observations that have been done.
Now he needs to make his bones.
Okay.
Let him make his mistakes.
We can go over that, but my question still remains. My observation shows that with very little distortion, very little atmospheric refraction, basically I cherry-picked the best viewing conditions possible from my particular observation. We're having damn near 300 feet of the towers obstructed from view. And yet the rest of the tower is unobstructed and with a shape that is consistent with the shape that we would expect if we were right there looking at it. So given all that, What's the atmosphere doing that
Be cool.
is
It's like watching my Padawan in his very
Cool,
first
Sean.
battle.
the
Cool,
entire
Sean.
Air Force Base in the process?
Small words, Sean.
That I'm not sure exactly this atmospheric conditions to create that. I know that it's kind of the same argument that's going under the horizon, over the curve, correct? Is that what you're basically referring to? It's the same argument?
No, it's
Well,
the
keep going,
same
Sean.
type of observation, the same evidence, but
He'll
I'm
be
not
stronger
referring to
after this.
buildings in
At
general,
least.
because these buildings are
The
very
only good thing out of it.
24 miles away. And keep in mind that for my job, I have to drive over the Skyway Bridge maybe 10 times a day. That's where I did this observation. And the P-1000, as you know, is portable. Why is it that no matter the day, no matter the conditions, no matter the time of year when I go out there, I will never see the bottom of those buildings?
I'm not sure why you're not seeing it in that
Oh, Sean, failure.
speaking of, but I've seen many observations that contradict
Setting
that.
him up.
Well, we're talking about this. We're talking about this observation. So basically,
He should
for
be
my
saying,
observation, you don't have any counter.
Gas is settled to the bottom
Is in fact measurable.
any day of the year, regardless of conditions. It's going to be
I'm
thicker
worried about that you're not measuring curvature.
at the water level
What am I measuring them?
all the time. That's why you can't see the bottom of the building.
Call it atmospheric
Sometimes that gets worse.
Atmospheric lensing. I'm not sure what you are specifically measuring. You know, what about what? I could say the same argument right back to you in the fact that we observe things at 120 miles away with infrared cameras, and it just shows the entire
Oh,
mountain.
there you go, Sean. There you
Yeah,
go.
those same infrared
What is your
cameras.
argument against
Keep fighting,
both?
Sean. Come on.
The same infrared cameras also show curvature. And by the way, those observations that you bring up, I bet if we were to look at the height of those mountains and the height of the mountain that is actually in the image, that it
Oh,
would
you bet.
with the round Earth model.
Sean built his own lightsaber. The only problem is the color is fuchsia.
That you guys like to pirate all the time. But going back to my observation, we see no
Yeah, your observation.
to the towers whatsoever. Yes, there's a little bit of haze. You would expect that when looking through 24 miles of atmosphere, but haze does not equal a extreme amount of refraction. The amount of refraction needed for those buildings to be obscured by 300 feet would cause some sort of stretching or distortion of the buildings to their actual shape. When you do the blink test and you compare the buildings to their actual shape as it was taken closer up, their shape matches perfectly. Therefore, atmospheric distortion is not a key here, and geometry is actually the factor here. It's the only thing that makes sense.
Okay. Well, we are going to disagree on observations of these things. I mean, I can show you some of the observations that contradict what you're saying, but you know, we can get into that, and we can sit here all day and argue about every single observation and what is happening and what isn't happening. But or we can agree to disagree on that one subject and move on to other things that disprove a globe Earth.
His entire video collection.
You're not off to a great start disproving the globe Earth, because instead of just agreeing to disagree, I would rather get to the bottom of what's actually going on. If you don't have a valid explanation that comports with reality, then what do you think the audience is going to side with? That which follows Occam's razor, or that which goes with a theory pulled out of one's ass?
Okay, well, let me show you a counter observation then, and we'll talk about that one as well. Is that all right with you?
As long as we understand that you haven't debunked or refuted my Tampa Bay observation. As long as we can agree on that, then we can go on, because your proof is I disagree. That's not a proof for a flat Earth.
Don't agree, Sean.
No, it's not a proof for flat Earth.
Okay, so long as we
Oh
make
my
that
God, he's making me want to jump in. He's pissing me off.
Sure, hold on. I will. Do you mind if I present a picture?
This is the problem with autopilot.
I mean, did anybody try to prep him for this?
No, because his ego
I mean, he just went
wanted
right
to
into
do this. The ego's the dark side. He has to learn to get his hand cut off. This is the Empire Strikes Sean right now.
What picture are you trying to show?
This is the Sean gets his hand cut off episode.
In California. I already have a picture for it, but I did find another picture that was it actually gave more information, so you don't question heights and things of that nature.
Merle, he's drunk this time. He's just less drunk this time.
Save the one picture, but I do have the to get the other picture rather quickly. But for now, I can present the one I do have.
This is
Okay,
like,
well, how about this? While you're pulling that one up, do you have anything
This
else?
is brown shirt Luke.
This is dead air here.
This is him leaving Master Jibby before his training was complete. I can do it, man. Fuck you, Jibby.
There you go.
And he gets his hand cut off.
Can you see this okay?
he should have started drinking when it started, maybe
Yes,
before.
yes, you're absolutely right.
Yeah,
But
like
then
he
he gets
just-
the initial influx of the
Right, and then it's like,
Ah.
but he's sued because it's like, oh,
right.
ah,
It's
there's-
too early for the
Word correct.
for the
there's
Coriolis
no ah,
effect.
There's
Yeah,
no ah moment yet.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
From 123 miles away, and it's showing the entire mountain
thanks, Bill.
behind LA, and at 123 miles away, I don't know how you would see that entire mountain.
Well,
Well, I
the
can tell
question
you.
is, do you have an image of the entire mountain for comparison?
Let's see.
Wait, they're showing Milli Vanilli? That's not what Sean's showing, is it?
And obviously, that was not taken at ground level, as you can tell by the towers.
No,
and the,
I had a picture with the height. 1 second, I'm just trying to find it.
what is the height?
I think it's about 10, something about 10. Actually, let me see. 1 second.
You don't know.
10,812 feet summit.
Good save.
So this was taken from. Sorry, what? You broke up there for a second.
10,812 feet is the height of the mountain.
Jared, can you share the screen if you can?
Already got it.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. All right, and the altitude.
I was like, is he talking to me?
One moment.
No, Larry. He
I'm
wasn't.
trying to find. I thought I had saved the picture, but I'm getting it right now. That has more information. So just one moment. But where the hell is it?
The problem with this point is it's not across water.
If it's not across water, it can be argued.
Yeah, because it could be in a valley.
It could be in a flat part of the land.
This is your evidence, dude. You're supposed to have this ready.
Fucking douche. What a dude.
I know. You know what? High five to Reds. He's right.
Is
Again,
there?
can you please provide me with the values that I requested?
I would have all my shit ready.
Yeah, I believe it was at 150 feet altitude.
You believe or do you know?
I didn't take the picture, so no, I do not know.
Okay, if then without the
He's
proper
picking them
values,
apart,
I'm
man.
discern whether this is actual evidence or bullshit. I gave you actual values. I gave you actual distance along with my evidence.
Is there something that Sean's better with?
Here, I have another.
We're getting closer to that point where I'll never join you.
Yeah, yeah.
He told me you killed him.
Information.
Okay. Also, just so you know, I'm messing with you.
It's not true. It's not
No,
true.
Sean's going to be a globe when Red's done with it.
I'm just trying to get you to do a little bit more research because I don't
Yeah,
think
he had
you
a lot
realize
of-
but that's not the entire mountain.
How can Sean win this though?
What you're
Because
seeing
I know
is
that
not
there's a way to
the
win
entire
this, and I'll
mountain.
tell you how.
Part of that mountain
What
is
you're
a
seeing is a mirage.
No.
And to prove that, I challenge
think
you to
about
find
it.
a full
How
image
gay
of
is
that
red?
mountain taken from that same angle and
How
do a
gay is
blink
red?
test like I did with my Tampa Bay observation.
Oh, here's
You'll
what
be-
Red's doing now. Red's like, I want you to find the DNA of that mountain.
What's your
He's
next
basically giving Sean an impossible task.
Yep, he just challenged him to it.
Sean should have been loaded, ready for these
Very interesting.
presentation.
Sean can win a lot.
I
of
like his
sympathy.
choice of words.
Here's another picture of the same mountain. This one's only at 120 miles, but it gives you an accuracy of height that it was taking at. But
I kind of want to go into Red's rhetoric with the pauper's robe.
Went off your observation.
Please, Reds, give me the time of day to challenge you.
With that atmosphere,
And just, blow up the Death Star from the inside.
I'm but a humble beggar.
I'm just a humble pauper wanting to argue the globe and flat.
Malibu, California.
Okay,
Am I supposed to be? Am I supposed to be wowed by his magnificence or something?
The robes fly off.
then I'd be like, there's only 8 of you on panel? You're gonna need a triple that.
Same mountain, the same city. So at that far away, you shouldn't be able to see that much of the mountain.
Let me go ahead and just debunk this real quick. The height of that mountain is 2,800.
Oh, sure. You're gonna debunk it real quick from your little fucking chair and your keyboard. Is that what you're gonna do, buddy?
This is why Yoda said, your weapons, you will not need them.
371
You'll only need what you bring with you. Ignored it, brought it in there, then he needed them.
That means we would still see 3,512 feet of that mountain, which I'm going to assert that's how much of the mountain that we're seeing. This perfectly illustrates curved Earth.
I bet his mom had one of those stickers that says, "My student or my kid is a."
Clearly showing.
My kid is not a real student.
Jared, your mom's bumper stickers were, my kid got a Wendy's value meal when he got out of prison.
No, I'm not asking you to share it. I've already seen it. I'm asking you to demonstrate it.
Well, it has the measurements right on it.
Perfect. Show it again. Now bring up chat, like you said you were going to.
Red was a little overly complimentary there.
But as you can see here, though, 10,812 feet minus 4,300 feet is not only 3,000 feet.
Again, bring up chat. I don't trust those values that you have plastered on the screen.
This is so good for Sean. It really is.
Yeah. And the thing is that Red is actually homosexually aroused anytime Sean is telling him a correct number.
And he says he doesn't trust those values. I don't trust those values that you're throwing up on the screen. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can tell it took his breath away after Sean was like 10,812 feet. You could tell.
123 miles. I will draw an arc.
Silence of the losers.
I think Sean should have done his research first, drunk while he was starting, and probably had lunch.
49,440.
Sean's never actually had to look up something before outside of a YouTube video, so this is good practice.
He probably but he's probably been like working all day anyway, right?
Well, I'll give you an arc.
Shout out to the blue.
Hey, Jared, can you share the screen? Yep. He said they're saying.
What the fuck, you working for these motherfuckers?
No problem, man.
So,
Why are you working for these guys?
You're welcome, Red.
Well, plus the smell of fresh rubber from the new tires is nice too.
That is nice, isn't it?
So I have just drawn a.
I like rubbing your rubber, Red.
That you can see the arc length is 54,120 feet.
You're giving me a model.
The best part is this is the first time Sean has seen these numbers. He's looking up for the first time on the fly.
With that image that you
that shows you how much he really cares. You know what I mean? Like that's pretty awesome.
Fluoride poisoning.
Okay, then I'm going to go.
But he's cocky.
Backgrounds alone. What's your next piece of evidence?
That's fine. I never claimed to have had that.
That's fine.
I thought you wanted me to model it in AutoCAD. You said bring up AutoCAD, so that's what I was.
No, I thought you said you could blink test it in AutoCAD.
Oh no, I don't have that. No,
you see, Sean was born with midichlorians.
That's going to dismiss it. What's the next piece of evidence that you can bring up to prove that the Earth is flat?
Sure.
I want to ask him the first time he ever saw the world.
To prove that the globe is a fact?
Correct. I have a few of them.
Well, the fact that my name being space is fake. You can prove to me that the vacuum of space can exist next to the pressure of the gas of our atmosphere.
Go for it, Sean.
Okay, let's go ahead and do this. Jared, are you ready to screen share me?
Ready?
Yeah, man, I'm ready when you are, Red.
Okay, so it's pretty clear to me that with a name such as Space is Fake, you must be very aware of how space works, space being a vacuum and stuff like that. So let me ask you something. If you had a packet, a small little ball, a little rubber sphere, if you will, yes, and you put that rubber sphere in a vacuum chamber, as soon as I explode that packet, that gas is going to spread out in all directions to fill the void, right? Correct. Perfect. I'm glad that we're in agreement here.
Wow, that's not right, Sean.
So let me go ahead and start sharing something. Jared, are you ready?
Yep.
Yep, I'm ready for you, man. It's all you, dog.
Okay, cancel. All right, so, all right, can you all see my screen?
Not yet.
Hurry the fuck up, Red.
Present.
Will I be able to see it here in this app?
Yes, you will.
All right, sure. All right, now you guys should be able to see my screen. All right, can you
Thank
guys see
God
it?
for that.
Yep.
Okay, this is a Falcon 9. It is a engineering example of pure badassery. Notice how it's taking off at night. And so,
Allegedly.
as the rocket lifts off, you're going to notice something about the rooster tail on the ass end of the rocket that's, you know, producing a shitload of badass. As I fast forward here, do you see the shape of this rooster tail?
Yep.
Good. Now, because the Earth is round, if the rocket were to go high and at a certain time of the morning, it will eventually see over the curve, and it will be able to see.
Oh my God! He's saying this is a Coriolis effect.
Sunlight. So even though it is dark outside, the sun is just not hitting the surface. There's actually sunlight streaming overhead right now.
That's a killer.
I'm going to go to the sunlight, which shows us what happens to the gas as it gets higher and higher and higher in altitude. There it is. This is a rocket going into the sunlight. Now, where is a staging event? There's MECO, which means main engine cutoff. There's separation. And right here is second stage ignition.
He just described the flat Earth.
Now, notice
Thank you, Red.
as the rocket gets higher and higher and higher in altitude, the gases being expelled at the ass end of the rocket get wider and wider and wider. And as you just accepted, a packet of gas in vacuum will start to expand in all directions.
Oh, I see
It
Harry's
expands
fucking
more
voice.
and more and
Wait,
more.
I agreed with that. Wait, what?
Can somebody explain to me what the dot is?
Hang on.
What's the dot?
This rocket did not have to go through any
What's the UFO behind it?
in order to experience that
The projection line.
What part of the rocket is the UFO dot behind it?
You can see that the gas becomes visible,
We won't talk about that.
damn near invisible, not until you actually get to the source of the expelling gas, which is the rocket itself. This shows that a rocket went into vacuum with no barrier.
A rocket in a vacuum.
It didn't show a vacuum at all. It showed a colder, low-pressure area. It didn't show a vacuum.
Into what? Until what happens? Until it fills the container of the experiment you just explained, right? You said there was
That's being disingenuous by calling that a vacuum at that layer.
Or bubbles, right?
Which is why you left.
If a container is present.
Yes.
Sean doesn't know that, though.
With the vacuum of space.
See, he's calling this a vacuum at this altitude. Sean's not aware enough to call him on it.
Here at this altitude. As the rocket goes on, it expands this much. Notice
I think Sean was a bit drunk that night, though, wasn't he? So he's doing well for a drunk person.
Here and here. This is a rocket going
smoke right now.
This is a rocket going into a lower atmospheric pressure without.
Yeah, Sean's at least winning at life, you know.
And they kept muting him, apparently. So.
It's not proving that.
You have to.
My argument is that it doesn't even leave the atmosphere.
But Reds did change what he just said to a lower pressure.
Well, hang on. I have one more piece of evidence to show you. All right. Jared, will you be able to share my screen one more time?
You know what? You can go fuck yourself, Red. Do it yourself.
You tell
All right, perfect. Give me a few seconds. Okay, here we go. All right, I am screen sharing in 3, 2, 1. All right, you guys should see my screen right now.
Dude, we're hearing your conversation over this.
This is an Atlas V 551. It is a rocket with 5 solid rocket boosters, and it's badass as fuck. As this rocket gets higher and higher and higher, it will again go into a lumosity transfer. Right here. Now,
same argument.
Now I'm showing you more than one observation. So this observation, you can see it, but this one does it in a little bit better way because lumosity transfer in this rocket happens at a lower altitude. So you can actually see less atmosphere, less atmosphere, less atmosphere, much less atmosphere, way much less atmosphere, practical vacuum, definite vacuum.
Nope.
Okay, well, I'm not
really
debating the fact that there's a gradient of the layers of air all the way until we get up that high.
Yes, there is a gradient. That gradient gets lower and lower and lower until eventually you practically don't have anything at all.
Yeah, I understand that. And that can happen in both models.
Oh boy, here we go.
I have a couple questions that may help this along and with understanding, so there's no over talking or claims of not understanding.
Oh shit! Astronomy Live's in there.
You assert a model
with
a solid dome firmament over top of what is known as the Earth.
I do not assert myself to claim any model of flat Earth. My assertion is that water is flat. As measurably
We're
as
not talking about water.
Wait a minute.
We're not
I'm answering your question.
No, you're not.
I do not observe that there's a dome above us. No, I cannot. I've been to space. I've never been up that high. I don't think Polar Reds have a UFO to go check it out yourself. You're taking the word of these space.
We need the repair crews standing by for the five-alarm fire Sean's going to cause.
I didn't go with rockets as a piece of evidence until about 5 years ago. Before that, I actually stuck with my specialty, which is radiated communication, wireless communication.
Okay. Anyway, as I was saying, whether you agree,
not even leave the Earth's realm. It does not leave the Earth realm.
Whether you agree or disagree that these rockets are going into what is commonly known as space, the one thing this does show is that these rockets are going into a lower atmosphere to practical vacuum without going through a barrier. If there is a pressure gradient that exists without any barrier between those different pressure zones, then there's no reason to assert that there needs to be some sort of solid barrier to go from an area of pressure to an area of no pressure. Because the same
claiming no pressure without proof of no pressure.
Pressure or pressure is the same exact reason there's no barrier between lower pressure and no pressure.
So it doesn't prove either model then?
No, it
making an assumption that Sean's just not.
Without a dome. A atmosphere can exist next to a vacuum, as I have demonstrated.
The gradient of air pressure being more so at the bottom, close to the Earth's surface, and then getting less dense as you go higher, does not prove space. It proves as a gradient where there's less pressure at the top.
Mm-hmm. No. Oh, no, this is where...
So you believe the moon landings at this point, do you?
Of course, because I do believe what is fact, but we're not talking about the moon landings. Now, let me go to my third piece of evidence to show that there is indeed a vacuum next to our atmosphere. Jared, are you ready to screen share me one more time?
Ready when you are.
Perfect. Okay. So, space is fake. What I'm going to show to you is something that a lot of flat earthers like to try to avoid because it debunks their bullshit. But this is an observation I did with my buddy Astronomy Live. This is a ISS transit that I filmed going frame by frame. There's the International Space Station going right in front of the moon. We didn't just do this with the Nikon P900, the flat earther camera of choice. We also did this with the a Meade LX200 telescope with auto tracking capabilities and a Canon Rebel T5i. When we were able to compare the tracks, as you can see, this is how parallax works, which is also roughly the same way that perspective works. We were able to calculate the height of the International Space Station and the angular size of the moon using astrometry. The angular size of the moon and astrometry also gave us something else to look at. Not only were we able to verify its altitude as 260 miles above the Earth's surface, but we were also able to calculate its speed. Its speed was 8 kilometers per second. If that craft was in Earth's atmosphere, it would have burnt the fuck up back.
But it is in Earth's atmosphere!
No.
Duh!
What a knobhead.
The SR-71 Blackbird, literally one
This
of the
guy is
most
way too full of himself.
ever exist on the planet. It actually
No, I like that.
Leaked fuel when it was on the ground. When it was at
You would, you jerk.
Fuck's sake.
Generated, expanded the panel to close the gap so it no longer leaks fuel. We're talking about a craft that goes many times faster than that at a height that is.
That means the ISS can't possibly be the right size.
Give me him in the ISS argument. I'm gonna jump in right now.
International Space Station with the space shuttle, which kind of fucks up your parade. The space
No,
shuttle.
Jibby, he must learn,
So,
Jibby.
what I'm trying to
I
say
know,
is
I
that
know.
this observation, which we were able to verify independent from NASA, shows that an object is in vacuum, traveling at a speed in which it would not survive in atmosphere, i.e. not a vacuum, and it's exactly as the nameless, faceless day from NASA tell us.
Wait, he's even going before that. Like,
again,
before the latest article, they were saying it's in the middle of the hemisphere. That's the atmosphere.
Is the space shuttle.
Yep.
So you know the size of the moon then. You can verify the size of the moon to understand what size that object you saw in the sky was to traverse it.
We don't need to know
There we go.
We don't need to know the size of the moon. We need to know the angular size of the moon, which is directly measurable.
All right. Well, I'm not going to sit here and argue whether the ISS is real. There are many other things that argue that the ISS cannot work in a vacuum. One, temperature alone. Two, the vacuum seals. There is no footage of an astronaut leaving the ISS in a suit, going into a vacuum chamber, and going outside into a spacewalk. There's a lot of different problems with the ISS footage. I'm not even going to sit here and go through them all, as Jaron has covered a lot of them. And you can find them yourself. There's a lot of techniques to create the ISS interior, exterior footage. This observation of transit, I personally cannot explain other than it being a plane vehicle, or I'm not sure exactly what is up there.
We're talking about. Well, I don't care whether you think the International Space Station is inhabited. That was not my claim. My claim is there's a craft up there that cannot exist within atmosphere. Otherwise, friction would destroy the craft.
That's not true, man. Okay. You can't objectively say what size it is.
There is a vacuum above our heads, and we are in atmosphere with no dome in between, as I demonstrated with the rocket, as I was able to demonstrate with the International Space Station, lunar transit observation. All of these things.
Demonstrating, but he did not demonstrate it. He just got someone to sign on to it.
Yes, an atmosphere exists next to a vacuum. Do you see what I'm talking about now?
I understand what you're saying.
No, Sean, you don't.
Good. And now, do you have anything to show?
That does not prove that we are on a ball in space. It proves we live in a realm with layers of atmosphere until there is a thinning of atmosphere, which I call void, which does not prove space.
Void is another term for vacuum.
Thank you.
But it does not prove we are spinning on a ball.
No, it isn't.
You asked
in a flat Earth model.
You asked something about the atmosphere. We're dealing with your question, your assertion. Your assertion originally was, does the atmosphere prove that's a ball? No. Your assertion was that an atmosphere cannot exist next to a vacuum. I showed you that that was bullshit, given observations used by equipment that flat earthers always champion, i.e. the Nikon P900, the flat earther camera of choice.
Okay, can I ask you a separate question? Is that okay?
Uh-huh.
At what height would you start to observe on your globe left to right curvature?
No, it depends on how good your eyes are in your field of view.
Okay, what altitude with a
Cop
linear
out. Don't give up, Sean.
do you
Damn
think
it.
you would start to see left to right curvature?
Define rectilinear camera.
A non-fisheye lens.
A non-fisheye lens.
I couldn't help it. I had to send Sean some information.
Regular camera that's just like on your
I don't know
iPhone.
if he's even going to see it, though.
Okay, I don't know. If I were to...
To be fair, the iPhone is not a rectilinear lens.
Correct. That's why I was wondering, because I've seen people do it with iPhones and they fucking suck. I don't know. I mean, I'm growing at 1,638 feet by simply collapsing the footage. Right, so I guess that counts, or no?
Okay. Well, what about the weather balloon images that show at 120,000 feet? That is here. I'll share it. This I think is from the Little Piggy Cam. I have a video of this.
That's not Little Piggy Cam. It is Dog Cam.
You know, Snack, even in the Cobra Kai series, Daniel LaRusso was pissed off, but he still went to the
So
and then halfway through, when he was getting his ass kicked, he stepped up and started a coach.
All right. Go for it, man.
That's a very good point. I actually don't have... Hey, Jared, are you ready to screen share me?
Ready when you are.
Thank you. So, let's go ahead and present. So here we go. Present.
Jared, you lapdog motherfucker.
Okay, and share. Full screen. This is the dog cam footage.
I'm really not liking it.
This footage was championed by the Morgile, a prominent flat earther from Globebusters, aka a fucking idiot. As we can see, as we make the image harsher, we start to see different layers and gradients. There's a curve there. There is a curve. As you can see, this is at an altitude, as you can see, of 32,500 meters. Temperature negative 37 degrees C. And here we see curvature. The same exact question that you ask, where you say, why don't we see curvature? I'm not going to pose a question back to you.
Purposely targeting a weak flat earther.
All right, well,
why don't it look like that from the fucking ISS cameras?
Cam footage then, where there is no curvature, no matter what you do to it.
Cool. I can go ahead and present to you more videos that show curvature.
He would have to go against Neil deGrasse Tyson, because Neil deGrasse Tyson can't see curvature from over 150,000 feet.
More videos.
Yeah, little pieces like that you bring up.
Plus, I can also demonstrate that your camera is probably not showing, is not distortion free.
Well, and I was going to say, space is fake. Go ahead and bring that image up again that you had. I just have two. Bring it back up, and once it's visible, we'll show it to the audience as well. I have two questions for you about it.
Okay.
Is that antenna coming into view straight? Or is there a bend to it?
What do you mean?
That antenna from the lower left corner towards the middle of the frame.
Like if I held a ruler up to it, is it straight or curved? Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
I don't know the nature of the cord, but it looks straight.
Except when you actually do an analysis, there is a bend towards the left, up towards the center of the frame. That is a detail. So there is a slight distortion of that antenna that was seen when it was on the ground earlier in the original footage. Now, here's
gravity show.
That horizon line, is it through the center of frame?
Up and down wise?
And horizontally. From corner to corner.
Taking advantage of somebody who doesn't know the physics.
Right. And somebody's going to like come up with the...
I believe it's a perfectly straight line, but I do not believe it's lined up with the camera to be perfectly horizontal. There could be a bit of wobble in the holster of the camera.
Okay, now Sean's at least getting there.
All right, Red, would you like to explain why I asked if that was through the center of frame, please?
Oh,
because
have you guys talked to this about this before?
Camera, the only time you can actually make any difference is when it goes to the center of frame, because fisheye cameras do not distort center of frame. If you have a straight line that's going from left to right through the center of the frame, it will show no deviation if in fact it was from straight line.
That's not right.
They should show the difference.
I love the people who are trying to...
You should throw the red bull jump in there.
They're trying to correct a fisheye lens. When just a regular lens and what it shows the rest, they'll try to make a fisheye lens prove there's a curvature.
Yeah, like the one inside the red bull capture.
Because the center of the fisheye lens is the true part, so let's work with that instead of just the true lens.
35, was it, the doc?
Can you send him the thing?
I never gave an exact value. Plus, I also want
Jibby, you gotta jump in, man.
Yeah, Jibby. I mean, he can't do this.
I've been trying to send Sean messages. He's got 2 spaces fakes now on Gmail, so I'm like, oh. So I'm sending him to both. I don't know if he's seen them.
Somebody text his ass.
You're using a flurf equation that doesn't take height of the observer into account.
He's not seeing them because he hasn't said anything I've sent him.
I'm talking about the sphere below the observer.
Sean, you know what? Would Luke have been as good of a Jedi in Return of the Jedi if he didn't get his hand cut off?
Per mile curvature at its surface, would it not?
No. He needs this.
His hand actually got cut off in The Empire Strikes Back, but...
It's not like Sean's battle here is the battle for Flat Earth. It's just a battle. It's not the war.
Why are you not a concave earther? Because this footage, I just took a screenshot of it. I uploaded it into Paint so I could draw a straight line through it. And guess what? The image isn't flat. It's actually bowed a little bit to make it seem like the Earth is more concave. I took the image that you were presenting as evidence, and so I present it here for everyone.
Yeah, I have the actual video, though.
So here you can see, in Paint...
There's only one thing I ask, is that all of you shame Sean when he gets back here.
Hits the clouds here, but here in the middle...
Like, hardcore, like, locker room shame.
According to the evidence that space is fake,
what are we at?
That concave. Please tell me when Lord Stephen Christ gives you his blessing.
Well, nice dig there, fucker.
And don't show evidence that support them.
I did not. You took a piece of footage, the image I originally showed of the footage. I have brought up the actual video that shows the actual taking a piece of any footage. That's ridiculous. Taking a little piece of footage and claiming it as the whole entire video is nitpicky.
I'm taking what you.
Well, that's a fair comment.
See, even without. Here we go. Here we go. Go ahead. I'll stop for that.
The line you drew, was that the horizon line? What the air does above the horizon does not necessarily equate what the land is doing. The horizon was flat. You had to draw a straight line, did you not?
I drew a straight line as a point of reference, and guess what? That point of reference showed that the image that you were showing is actually bowed in the wrong direction.
Yeah, so the atmosphere itself can do at the edges of a camera aren't necessarily what is happening.
So the camera isn't showing. So by your own admission, if the camera isn't showing what may actually be
happening, are all of his memes homosexual Navy?
All right, you're taking this the wrong way. All right. So if you want to show a video here, the video does not do that.
70% or 100% flat.
No, say 30% glow.
Video playing in real time of the video itself sharing. You can see that this is a horizontal line, and then there is air above it. Air is not necessarily on the ground. You can see the actual line. You see my mouse?
Mm-hmm.
And 120,000 be up, down on either side. It'd be a drop in curvature left to right at this height. It would not be this flat.
All right, so Jared, are you ready to screen share me again?
I swear to God, I'm so sick of this Jared guy.
Okay, so I just took yet another.
He's making me like you more.
And let's go ahead and do I mean, I could do this all day.
I like me more.
Here I drew another line.
That's good, man.
Point from where the white meets the blue to a point where the white meets the blue. And as you can see, as the line gets further and further to the center, it bows more into the blue. This is a straight line. This evidence that you are showing me is not evidence for a flat earth. It's supposedly evidence. Then don't show me this if you're not even going to trust it.
I wish I had kind of the same thing you guys over here.
Sean's breaking the rules and interrupting.
It's not true. It's not straight is the point, dude.
I wish Jibby would say, "Hey, Jared, show me that. Will you screen share me, please?"
Jared, can you bring
Jibby.
this up?
Bring that back up again.
You know what? If I do get on with him, I want you somewhere in there so I can just say that. Can you bring this?
Share.
Mike would have to do it for me, but then I could talk over it.
Talking about what be the ground, which is located below the red line. The point at the left edge of the screen cap and at the right edge of the screen cap are where the blue atmosphere and that area that you are referencing.
This is called tilty cam.
So with a straight line onto paint from those 2 points.
It's a straight line.
It's bold. It's bold.
Is showing you.
All right.
Red's explain to Sean that
how far is it from left to right?
The edge of the frame is bendy.
You are providing increases as you get to the center of frame and then begins to decrease again.
Hey, can we not calculate that fucking distance across that line?
I believe we could, Bob.
We can, but that's too much math.
Calculate that. That'll fucking give you.
I'd say it's
too complicated right now.
It's 200, at least 200 miles.
Perfectly.
Left to right is probably about 250 miles.
Say 250.
So what I'm trying to say is
therefore, there should be much more curve than there.
Evidence is useless.
I would think so, yeah.
Let's go back to the evidence that you had of the ISS.
Okay.
If you go through the last 2 minutes of that explanation again for me?
Which part do you want to know?
You said that it was atmosphere?
Correct. It was not in the atmosphere.
He finally read what I wrote him.
Right on.
Yes, I actually retweeted.
We need Dread to get up in on these guys' face, man.
That article says from my actual retweet. Measurements from ESA, last NASA SOHO Solar Observatory show that Earth's geocorona, a diffuse cloud of hydrogen atoms.
Yeah, atoms.
Farther than previously thought. Far enough that even the moon orbit through it.
This guy's cadence drives me insane.
Whenever I retweet it later. So it's not saying that the moon is in atmosphere. It says that there is a
the title says the moon is in Earth's atmosphere.
Beyond our planet.
It's in the title.
Yeah, but the
Jesus Christ.
Yes, but you're still talking about individual atoms. You're not.
Oh, shut the fuck.
Got any pictures of
air
those?
molecules?
Trillions and trillions.
Individual air molecules are made up of the atmosphere. So obviously, you're just talking about the individual.
Yeah, but air is thick.
Yeah, but the air molecules are individual.
Where's it all gonna go?
Sean is debating a Wikipedian.
In the thermosphere, is it not?
Yeah, thermosphere, yes.
And then there's an exosphere above that.
Yeah, he's totally reading what I wrote him.
Do you agree?
Yeah, what's your point?
Yeah, what's your point? There's a lot of atmosphere.
Hey, Jared, can you share my screen, Jared?
Of heat, how does heat be different? The ISS, this is a temperature chart, which is well above 200 Celsius in that area. So it's just gathering heat the entire day, constantly. Every time it goes around every 90 minutes, so for about half that, it's gathering heat.
Dude, he's got 531 people watching that shit. Fuck.
That's what I understand there.
I'm just waiting for Sean to say, Jibby, can you share my screen?
Actually, it'll be a lot higher. I was thinking many thousands of degrees.
Yeah, this is a general chart. I mean, it's the graph down here, Celsius, 200, and then it skips along and just kind of showing that.
Brian Mullen did a great piece on that one, man.
So
what
I think those are Brian Mullen slides, actually.
You can't have a extended period of a aircraft sitting in that.
Yeah. He's finally acknowledged. All right, Sean can see what I'm writing.
Excellent. Keep it going, man. Help him out.
Bring out the Neil deGrasse thing if you can.
It's okay. Don't give him too much too fast.
Yeah.
Two, you would need a machine shop on the ISS to replace parts. They do not have that.
Why would the seals break? You're just asserting shit without actually backing any of this.
Anything can break. You wouldn't fix the seals in a machine shop.
We want to know where the poo goes from the ISS.
Individual atoms. Individual atoms are at that.
Yeah, where's the poo go?
They have machine shops on submarines, right?
What travels faster?
Yes, they do.
A bullet or a car?
Bullet.
A bullet travels faster than a car. All right. So that means cumulatively, that bullet
You really need to ask that fucking question, Red, right?
in that space.
What about a Tesla Roadster?
All right, what moves faster, a bee
is an
or
atom
Superman?
traveling really fucking fast. Imagine you had a solid plate.
Really fucking
Just a
fast.
solid
That's just
plate
good
just
stuff.
sitting out
There's
in
the word imagine. Imagine.
Imagine the Earth going 1,000 kilometers an hour. Imagine the speed of that speeding bullet. But you can't feel.
Let's say it's a 50 cal. Let's go Mac Daddy. Let's say it's a mid 50 cal. Let's say it's a plate so thick it can't penetrate it. What's going to happen to that plate?
I always use 50 cal in references, by the way.
Does that kid ever fire a gun ever?
Sitting in a way that
What if you fired a bullet out of the Tesla car that's inside?
He's talking.
It's a wall that's balanced.
I want him to say what I meant.
Hit it with a hard enough force with that bullet, it's going to tip over, right?
So you're coming up with a scenario that is irrelevant to my point.
Unfortunately, you can't say that until you actually heard the end of it.
The thermosphere is thin, but it's not empty. The heat that high are still going to be hitting the ISS.
You're talking about one atom being able to transfer that energy to trillions of atoms.
Magic atoms.
Okay?
They're fucking
one
magic.
atom able to transfer that energy to trillion. What you are trying to say is that you can make up energy out of nothing.
Isn't that what an atom is?
Where does dark energy come from?
Or destroyed, it can only change form or change from one medium to the other. That atom has a finite amount of energy that it can transfer. If that one atom has 1,000 degrees worth of energy, it has to disperse that energy among trillions of atoms. The end result is that you have fuck all when it comes to temperature change. The most
That's
prominent.
bullshit, man.
No. Soon to be 25.
Yo, what about the ions in the ionosphere, bro? They hot.
The real part of the heating comes from solar radiation, which the ISS reflects by being made of very reflective material. Not only that, it also has radiators on the space station to radiate back out into space.
God.
You're also misunderstanding that 2,000 degrees.
I'm kind of debating Reds through him right now.
There you go. Why not? It's a fun way of doing it. It's a lot more fun having us in your...
No, 2,000 miles an hour in vacuum is just 17,000 miles per hour in vacuum. You're still only dealing with one atom as opposed to trillions. You are literally suggesting that one atom can transfer enough thermal energy to the entire space station that it's going to cause a thermal fuck-up somewhere.
I didn't take these fucking measurements. Who did?
Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. Because one atom is really powerful in space.
This is just waffling.
On the aluminum, or what is the
They took the fucking temperatures, man. They took
one atom that's happening repeatedly.
What about the hole that the ISS got in it? Didn't the ISS get a hole in it?
And it constantly gets radiated away repeatedly for 20 years. Yes, there is thermal controls on the space station.
You're saying it's in the thermosphere, not in the vacuum of space.
Yeah, it's
not just one atom in the thermosphere.
No. It's multiple atoms, but it only hits one atom at a time.
That's a guess.
No, that's an actual fact by the mere fact that it orbits. Okay, if there was sufficient drag,
why does the ISS one atom at a time?
Yes, it hits it one atom here, one atom there, one atom here, one atom there. When it comes to solar radiation, it reflects because it's shiny. Guess what?
One atom 12. One atom 12.
They have these things called radiators where it can radiate that heat back out into space. Again, there is thermal control on the space station.
What the fuck is it radiating heat
thermal
onto?
control
Gas?
on the space
What?
station.
What? In a vacuum? Oh, wait, what? What's it radiating
It's orbiting at 17,000 miles an hour. That's the escape velocity, correct?
No, that's not escape velocity. No, that's orbital speed. That is orbital speed of low Earth orbit, which is around 260 miles up.
Let's not use the word orbiting.
Is traveling at miles an hour.
Oh, I don't disagree with that. I measured it going that fast.
Okay, then. So then let me ask you this: the ISS or not?
I'd like to know how he measured that.
Wait, repeat the question. You broke up.
Is the ISS inhabited or not?
I believe it is. Yeah.
So those astronauts, they got in a rocket and they traveled from 0 miles an hour to 17 miles an hour.
Yeah, rockets are badass.
Oh, they can handle that kind of G-force.
3 Gs, yes. Fighter pilots can actually go up to 9.
Yeah.
Escape velocity is 25,000 miles.
3 Gs. The only time you'll actually experience more Gs is during an abort maneuver.
And even then, it's still below the human threshold of 10.
Correct. Let's see. I went ahead and did a quick Googles. Astronauts normally experience a maximum G-force of around 3 Gs during a rocket launch. That was literally a Google search away. 3 Gs.
We started GoFundMe to send Red to Mars.
I'm still not done with the thermosphere and how heat. I understand your argument that there is some heat dissipators. You said
they're called radiators. Your car has them too.
Right. Yeah, but it's in motion through fluctuating temperature. The atmosphere at 17,000 miles per hour. You can't tell how thin or thick an area of that is.
No, you're right. The International Space Station radiators are actually much better than the ones that you have in your car.
I'll show you what I'm typing to him. You can see it right here.
All right. Well, that's the
This
first.
is what he's been saying to him.
For the ISS. I don't know if you could pull up one of those as an image just for my reference? That would be nice.
They're just sending him like instructions.
Let me see. Excellent. Excellent. Excellent.
I'd have to get to it.
It's called the integrated truss. Okay, those are the radiators. So let me go ahead and do a little bit of screen.
And now he wants to change the subject.
On the ISS, I recommend you read it. It's a good read. So let me go ahead and give you this.
See how Reds has been beaten. This is now he's going to go on to something else.
All right, this is the International Space Station. Notice how the solar panels.
Digression is always a good sign.
Radiators are, for the most part, edge
Oh,
on.
he's going to talk about the radiators.
There. Perfect.
Okay, thanks. Thanks for. I would like to get. If we could change subject, I would like to get to the matter of water.
Again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you show me a large body of water that is the sphere?
A large body of water that is a sphere. So you mean going 360 degrees?
That's him. That's not me.
Water curving is my question. Can you practically demonstrate water curving?
Okay, this is the part where you don't want to see my observation in Tampa Bay?
No, I'm not saying forward and back, because we cannot, we have a stalemate with that, whether it's refraction or what's happening.
No, we don't have a stalemate. You have a misunderstanding.
Any left to right observable curvature.
Left to right observable curvature.
Yeah. Just like that image he just showed, he harped on. The center was like 250 miles easy. Not a lick of drop.
I don't know what you're asking. Are you asking me to show
That's what I meant, Jimmy. That in itself would prove it.
Yeah, just that little tiny area in the middle, being so high up, is 250 miles easy. Not a lick of drop. Scientifically, with a line across through computer graphics.
Yeah,
I mean, precision.
Okay.
Use precision graphics.
Because the ISS is a thing, as I demonstrated.
Like I said the other night, with the rocket launches, use a precision vertical line drawn in, and then watch the rocket right up it.
I want to make sure I understand that. You were asking two separate questions there. You were
Cylindrical rocket.
for curvature left to right, and then you were also asking for 360-degree curvature.
That would prove it for me. Prove it. If you can show me a body.
Can I do a point of information here? Actually,
are you sure?
Red is really close to Jacksonville, which is about 72% humidity year-round, which makes it the second highest relative humidity is about where he lives near.
Let me ask this. I want to make sure that everyone here is listening to you on this. If I can show you demonstrable evidence to show curvature from left to right with an image, you will no longer spew this flat earth nonsense. Am I hearing you correct?
I don't think anyone in the community would. If you can
wait for this image.
I'm not talking about other people. I'm talking about you specifically. You will no longer spew this bullshit if I can show you demonstrable evidence that, for added, I have done myself. You will no longer spew this bullshit if I can show you that curvature from left to right.
Right curvature, because we wouldn't be talking.
5% humidity there.
Not the question. If I can show you that, will you still spew this bullshit? Yes or no?
Well, there's other reasons why I still believe the Earth is flat. But go ahead.
Okay, so you're not going to change your mind. At least I got that. So
if you can show me evidence of,
so you would change your mind.
Show me, yes. Go ahead.
Okay. So you heard it here. I'll show him evidence, and then he'll change his mind. Cool. All right. So Jared, are you ready to screen share?
Fucker.
Okay.
Fucking chill, Jared.
Go window.
It's not a coercive point.
Hang on. Okay, so this is my video. This is a video where I went to Reddington Shores, Florida.
Let me at him. Let me at him.
Is my DJI Mavic Pro Alpine White Edition. Now, if you look at the camera specs of the DJI Mavic Pro Platinum and Alpine White Edition, they do not have a fisheye lens. So, as you can see, so
the humidity creating the fisheye lens. Sorry. Okay. Over.
Yeah, I threw an IR in there for Sean to argue.
It's going to help me do our observation. So as you can see right here, there's the drone going up.
Right now,
So hang on. So here's the shot of the drone as in altitude.
Why is he using a GoPro?
Drop, which shows that at altitude, your horizon does not reach your eye level. As you can see, it clearly dropped.
This is such a non-argument, this eye level shit.
When I hit the top of this. The top of this shows the surface of the water, which is the Gulf of Mexico, so no land, curving. Now, how do we demonstrate that's curving? By squishing the image, make exaggerated. So that is the image of it exaggerated. I'm going to screen share one more time. Boom. Let's do this. Let's do the entire screen. Let's do the entire screen. And share. Boom. This is that same shot, but with the left and right side of the frame squashed together. There is a clear and distinctive curve from left to right.
What a fucking
by the DJI Mavic on Redington Shores, Florida. And this observation has repeated not once, not twice, but 3 times, thanks to Sean Hufford and also Wolfie.
3 times a lady.
Left to right curvature. There you go. I appreciate the fact that you're no longer a flat earther.
You edited an image.
Isn't it funny how 120,000 feet didn't show that?
And I knew you would deny it. I didn't edit the image. I from left to right so that any curvature that would be in the image would be easier to spot. That's the only thing I did.
I already have this to Sean in a rebuttal.
Is there any IR imagery with left to right curvature in comparison to
Now I hang on, Gavel. I'm stepping in as the moderator at this point and asking you, Seth, why the fuck are you moving the goalpost?
No, it's coming in now after the IR.
In a picture.
No, he compressed a picture to exacerbate what was in there. It's an enhancement. And here's the thing. If you were honest with yourself, you would have seen the beginnings of the curvature before the compression happened.
The compression was just to make the curvature easier to spot. The curvature was there before I did anything to the image. All I did was make it so that the curve was easier to see. And now you want it to be infrared for some reason.
No, wait, it doesn't matter. What I'm saying is, no matter what we observe is an infinite plane.
You don't.
Wow. Okay.
At this point, I do have a question for you, Space. How hard have you had to work to be this intentionally dishonest?
I'm not intentionally dishonest. I was born taught a lie.
Whoa, do we need to play this back so you can hear where you agreed that if you could be shown left to right curvature,
no, he didn't agree,
that you would accept it and no longer be a flat earther? Red then does it, and instead of accepting it as you agreed to,
I never never be a flat earther. I said,
Audience?
show me the evidence, and if the evidence changes my mind, I will.
No, you said, if you can show me this, I will change my mind. You were shown it, and you are shitting on it.
Dude.
Well, let's just play it back and see, because we never said that.
How many times did they ask him to comment that or whatever?
Do you remember that?
Yeah, unfortunately, you also forgot the part where, hey, moderators can actually step in. You wanted to moderate debate.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm calling out. Hang on. I am sorry. Hang on, Space. Hang on. I am sorry that I had to step in because you're just intellectually dishonest.
I'll handle it from here.
Oh, boy.
All right, look. You told me, show me left to right curvature. I showed you left to right curvature.
No, you showed me in edited images.
Nothing was added.
A rocket from a satellite image or an ISS image. Can you show me a rocket leading into space? Or those situations?
Really? That's all it's going to take?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, let's do the same question again. If I show you that, are you gonna stop being a flirt?
I will look at the evidence, and if what you provide is accurate, I will change my tone.
Oh, so you're the arbiter of truth then. So it really doesn't matter what I fucking show you. You're just gonna dismiss it, just like you did just now.
No, you edited an image, Red.
Was anything added or taken away from the image?
It's like 90% of people that say arbiter because they played Halo too much.
No. Was anything added or taken away from the image? I told you exactly what I did.
How would I know? I did the image.
I show you the video of it. Can I edit this shit in real time? You saw the raw video that the screenshot came from.
He's not reading
I show you what I did. Yeah, it was over water. It's the Gulf of fucking Mexico.
Water is flat no matter how high you go.
That's just coercive submission. Just fucking show the picture.
And keep repeating that shit. It's not going to make it any less false.
Talk about refraction.
Except I just did. You want me to demonstrate it?
Presented an edited image, sir.
Okay, let's go ahead and do this again. So while you're busy telling me how I did evidence for left and right curvature, I'm just going to be sharing evidence for left and right curvature. Please continue, sir.
Camera that is non-fisheye. Yet another edited image.
Look at that. Look at that nice curvature from left to right. Hey, space is fake. Regardless if you think that this is real or not or whatever, you agree that there is a curve there, right?
Kidding me.
That curve.
That's fisheye.
You agree that there's a curve, right?
Hey.
Right?
Yeah. Compressed does not mean edited. All I did was show you the curve that was already there.
No, he's compressed it, hasn't he?
Right, well, can you show me
From a fisheye shot.
I just asked for then? Can you show me a rough
Is this supposed to be showing curve?
Sure. Let's go ahead and move the goalpost again.
Showing a rocket. Let's see a docking from the ISS where it leaves the pad, comes right to the top.
You want to
left to right curvature with the infrared? That's not asking too much. That should be
He's not reading what I wrote.
easy to find.
How is
I'm still arguing the balloon footage, and he's not reading it.
That craft, launching it and docking with the International Space Station when it's on the other side of the fucking planet?
All right, well then the onboard works. I've never.
All right, I'll try a new round or something.
Tell him to go back to Neil deGrasse Tyson saying that you can't see the curvature from 180,000 feet.
Let's go ahead and do this. 1.7 million views, uploaded 3 months ago. Wow, look at that. Took 2 fucking seconds on Google to find. Let's share this. Jared, am I able to share? Ready when you are. This, by far, is some of the most amazing footage out there.
Ask him about what's lighting the ISS.
Station. This dot, as you can see, is a rocket. The camera is going to slew to follow this rocket.
Guy sounds like a little, like a teenage magic presenter, doesn't he? Sort of like.
This right here is a layer of atmosphere. This is the rocket as it's doing its gravity turn.
He's very condescending.
There it is, right there. Hang on.
Hey, Earth's got shields.
There's second.
No, Earth had shields.
And now it's speeding up to get into orbit.
Hang on.
Wolfman's got nards.
Which I verified was in vacuum because I verified its altitude and its speed. Speed is impossible within atmosphere. So there you go. Another video that shows
another alleged video that looks like a cartoon below it. That's not what the Earth looks like from a high altitude balloon, but that's what the Earth looks like above the atmosphere. Okay. It's not a real video.
No, nothing?
You have to have something on hand to compare it to, where the oceans are so cloudy. But he can see a nice dark blue ocean from the atmosphere level. Give me a fucking break.
You actually are, rotating once every 24 hours?
say I was done. I was just taking a moment to gather myself so I could.
I know it's
all right.
being hit with the truth bomb does it, people. So please take.
Oh, shut the fuck up, you pompous bitch.
No, the fact that you.
The guy works at like Walmart or something. Did you know that?
I asked for it.
He's got like that kind of a job. You guys have been battling some Walmart worker or whatever for years. Literally, he's got a nothing job.
You should compare that curve to the Red Bull jump, the straight fucking.
My buddy was the guy behind the Red Bull jump in the control room.
I'm saying you should compare
like,
it.
Not Pub's friend, my friend.
I'm on about the camera.
This isn't a Pub's friend story. My buddy really was the guy in the control room for the Red Baumgartner jump.
Right, but the camera inside the capsule showing it flat.
My buddy said there was no GoPro.
Oh, what? Outside it?
It's clearly GoPro. My friend said there was no GoPro.
Look at the videos on YouTube. They're fucking ridiculous.
I know. I want to get my friend on Globebusters or whatever, but
from inside
I got a feeling he's going to say no if I ask him.
But from inside the capsule, it was fucking flat.
No.
I know.
Two objects from the center of masses. That has nothing to do with.
Where I am, which is the surface of Earth, the radius of the Earth, correct?
This is
He's showing the equation for the. Ask him how M. Oh, let me do the fucking gravity thing if he won't say anything else.
The distance between the center of Earth and me is the same distance as the radius of the Earth.
Oh, you're not talking about something in space. Okay, fine. Yeah.
I mean on Earth.
Yeah. What about it?
Man.
So I would like to ask you one: how did they calculate the mass of Earth?
By doing a rearranging of the equation to solve for M.
You need to know the size and weight to know the mass, correct?
Nope.
No. Really?
You need to know the
Come on, man.
You need to know G, and then from that you can find the mass.
Yeah,
You can weigh things with your eyesight.
So, all right, fine. Let's do it for the moon then, even, or whatever. How do you know the mass of something just by looking at it?
Mm-hmm.
There you go. There you go. Right there, baby.
Yep.
So if I have a barrel, right? Say I just have a barrel. I can't pick it up.
God help us all. I almost hope that he turns Sean into a Glober again.
I know. Hang on.
Exactly. So how would they know the mass of the Earth if they don't know what's inside of it?
Because the Earth has a measurable force. The barrel does not, you dipshit.
Measurable force.
They know what's in the Earth.
No, they know the force. You don't need to know what's in the Earth. You just need to know the force.
What you would need to
You
know
don't know what.
the volume of the Earth. You would need to know the mass of the Earth. You would need to know what's inside the Earth.
No, you just need to know the force. Because you want to know what else equals force? Mass times acceleration.
Measurable force doesn't tell you
If you know
the weight.
If you know the gravitational acceleration of our planet, which is directly measurable, and you know the force it exudes, you know how to rearrange the equation and solve for. So let me give you an equation.
The only reason you know the force is because of the mass of the Earth, you fuck.
Hang on. F equals
This
M
motherfucker.
times A. How would you rearrange that equation to solve for M?
You're really misunderstanding me, are you not?
So basically you don't know basic.
You're assuming the mass of Earth, though, to make it impossible.
Let me explain this again.
You can solve that equation, but you can't verify it by going measuring the weight.
Acceleration. We can solve for M. Can we not?
You don't even have to wait.
Without knowing the mass.
It's still only an equation. It's not verifiable.
Oh shit. Okay.
Oh, reverse mathematics.
This is actual middle school right now. This is like way over your head, seriously.
Gravity equation. You're assuming the mass of Earth.
No. Here's a question for you, Space. Is acceleration measurable?
That has nothing to do with it.
My point is that you cannot.
Is acceleration measurable?
Interpretation of reality.
It's a simple. Hang on. It's a simple yes or no. Can you measure for acceleration?
Of course you can.
Okay, you can measure for A. Can you measure for?
Or are we talking? Oh wait, I thought you were speaking.
I don't know how many seconds behind I am, but I'm giving him all the answers.
Measure the acceleration of Earth.
No.
Earth is moving. It's stationary.
Oh, for fuck's sake! So with that presupposition, you can't do any fucking math.
What do you mean with that? That's bullshit. Because you're.
Gravity equation does not the mass of Earth.
Why?
You cannot look at an object as mass.
Hang on. Why did you accept it, but immediately throw in the Earth yourself just to reject my question?
Oh, that's bullshit, dude.
You measure acceleration of an object.
Okay. Yes. You can measure the acceleration of an object, which then you can measure the force from that object.
Yes. Okay. Enough. Okay, it's the gravitation. Hang on. Stop. I'm done with this shit. Okay, it's clear you don't understand this, so I'm going to go ahead and get to the point of this. All right. So basically, what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't going to use that smaller equation, F equals m times a, to measure the mass of the Earth. That was eventually going to be a stopgap to the actual equation, which is m equals g r to second over big G, which is the universal gravitational constant. That's how you would of the Earth. First measurement was of G was the Cavendish experiment. What was it, like 1797 or some shit like that? So we were able to figure that shit out. R was also being able to figure out by the rays of the Earth done by the Eratosthenes observation, also verified by Slice-Parkane.
Well, you have a three-bodied problem, though, still, motherfucker.
Which, for all intents and purposes, can actually be ignored because you literally almost weigh nothing when compared to the fucking Earth. Also, Jared, I hear ratcheting. And so, using all of those things,
no, you have a three-bodied problem.
You get a value for m. That is how you measure the mass of the Earth.
What?
You said one of those variables was the radius of the Earth?
Correct, which has been verified.
No, that's assumption.
No, it's been verified. It's not an assumption. It's been verified.
But by who?
Verified my ass.
By Eratosthenes, Slice-Parkane, myself, and everyone that's ever used an equatorial telescope now.
And every geodesic surveyor.
And every geodesic surveyor, and anyone that uses GPS.
That's such a common trait on this drone we live in. A very common trait of geodetic surveyor.
You don't have to be a surveyor. All you need is the ability to get your hands on an equatorial telescope mount. Get your hands on an equatorial telescope mount, because the only way that thing reality is by using the size of the Earth. Anybody
verified Earth,
which is assumed.
You say so.
Outside of it.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and ignore Slide's observation. We'll ignore Eratosthenes' observation. We'll ignore everyone that's ever used a equatorial telescope mount. We'll ignore every surveyor. We'll ignore everything that disagrees with your bullshit. What other special pleading?
You still are of Earth. You cannot assume the Earth's mass based on the lights on the outside of what's happening on the outside.
Good thing there's no assumption in our calculation.
There isn't. So they've dug all the way to you know what's inside the Earth?
We don't need to know that.
Yes, you do.
No, we don't.
You don't know how dense it is. You don't know the mass or weight or any of that.
Do you need to know what's inside a basketball to know its external dimensions?
Then
that has nothing to do with the object, you fucker.
If I gave you a box and I filled it with something, do you need to know what that something is in order to measure its weight?
Yes. What a dumb question.
Of course you do.
What the fuck?
Wait, hang on. I want to make sure I understood you correctly. I want to make sure that I understood you correctly, Space. You need to know what is inside a box in order to put that box on
Yes! Duh!
That's what we're saying. Why are you still big enough for the Earth then? If that's what your fucking argument is.
So you have to. So basically, you can't just. Oh wow. Okay. So you have to open the box and look what's inside it in order to figure out its weight.
Yes!
Yeah.
Yeah! Of course you do.
Volume.
How the fuck else do you know?
Did you know that mass has an effect? Okay, let's go ahead and explain this to you very slowly. Mass has an effect on objects around it. That effect is directly proportional to that object. What that object is made of is irrelevant.
What?
You're assuming.
Okay. What?
Directly measured, not just by me.
Yeah.
With what?
Oh no, not just that, but also the equatorial telescope mount experiment, which you can do yourself.
I hope someone recorded that, because that's priceless.
Wow! Oh my God!
And also with a little tool known as astrometry.
He actually believes that shit. He believes he doesn't need to know what's in the box.
You can actually open the box and see what's inside it in order to know what it weighs.
Everyone.
Wow! Okay! What?
Send a copy to Jerry.
But those are not the same thing.
That was the prequel to Little John right there.
Second is how you measure the mass of the Earth. You would rearrange to find m equals little g. Second for big G.
I don't think I'm following you guys.
What
do you mean?
Directly measured by not only.
You have to open a box to see what's inside it, to know how much the box weighs.
It's fucking irrelevant because
That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
I'm not done yet. No, I'm not done. Running that equation all the way through with all the values in the proper mix, imperial with.
That felt good. That was a good one. That was like Primatine Mist for your soul. Ah.
For being kilograms. You'll get to count. Just make sure you use the same values.
That's like an 80s asthma medication.
Get the equations.
And you just expose yourself as a person that was not listening. Notice how I say no assumptions. I told you how we verify.
No assumptions. Math is an assumption.
What part of that is an assumption? Did I assume the radius of the Earth? No, that was directly measured.
Yeah, of course you are. You dumb shit. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, but I also did it myself. You jackass. I'm glad you missed that part.
Even Vsauce knows you're wrong. Even Vsauce knows you're wrong. The sun is either 93 million miles away with a radius of 4,000 miles, or it's a flat plane that has a small and local sun. That's how that works.
Unfortunately,
I use plan, yeah.
It kind of fucks that shit up the ass because if the sun was as close as you assert it would be, we would expect the angular size to change by 3 times over.
No, it wouldn't.
Yeah, it would.
Guys, what's happening, regardless of it's a globe or flat, what's happening in the sky does not change observably. Ever.
No. Yeah, it doesn't change, which is what it should do. Not only
I
that,
toss Sean like 5 lightsabers if he can't win this.
And it's just ridiculous. You tell me you're not using assumptions, you're using the radius as an assumption,
which is
you're
not
using
assumption.
the planets and the moons.
That was never in the equation. So we have not an assumption that wasn't even in the fucking equation, so I don't know where the fuck you got that. And yet you still haven't pointed out where any of this is an assumption. All of these things were directly measured. So what the fuck, dude?
All right. You're just going to keep using these assumed values.
Sean's actually hit him harder than I've ever heard Jaren hit him.
Your assumption
with a couple of these
is an assumption, ironically.
There is actually
Truth, Gibby, he actually probably did better than Jaren did.
Space is fake. Did you happen to watch the remainder of that Vsauce video?
Oh, fuck Vsauce!
I don't agree with fucking Vsauce. That's not what I'm claiming.
Are you using him as an authority, then?
Sean's just hanging back for a bit.
You believe a child pedophile murderer? At least his eyes are.
3 million miles away, and it's a big sun. It works one way or the other.
No, it doesn't.
Wait,
it doesn't. It really doesn't.
Hang on. And the question from the chat is that where you stopped watching the video, which was only about...
Wait. Are they arguing a YouTube video?
Ridiculous. I don't adhere to that. I live on a emotional flat plane with flat water.
No, you don't. You live on a beautiful round earth.
A beautiful graveyard.
Okay, so we're just going to get into it's flat, it's round, it's flat, it's round.
No, you're going to bring assumptions. I'm going to bring demonstrable evidence that you can do yourself that you just choose to ignore.
They're all assumptions.
No, it's not.
Assuming the mass of Earth,
which I didn't do. No, I haven't. You want me to go into explicit detail about how I didn't again? We had 9 observers, or we had many observers in 9 different countries do this observation, and they all converge on the same answer. That is testable and repeatable observation. Those are where we get our data points from. We don't pull data points out of our ass because scientists know, especially me, that if we just make shit up, that even motherfuckers like you would be able to debunk it. But since you guys haven't been able to debunk it worth a shit, that speaks very, very largely to how solid our case is.
It's that solid that you have to get on here and debate somebody.
You don't need to take my word for it. You don't need to take NASA's word for it. You have to take everyone's fucking word for it. You can verify the size of the fucking Earth yourself. So go out there and do it.
If we did, then you would shut the fuck up.
Assuming the outcome, that's what Red does and all.
You've assumed too many things, and you're saying you haven't assumed things, and that's
I haven't assumed a fucking thing. Unlike you, I actually went out and I actually did observations. Like, for example, the International Space Station, which, quite frankly, I think you were surprised to see that I went that fucking deep into this. This isn't my first rodeo. This is the first time I've heard Flat Earth say, well, did you do it yourself? Actually, motherfucker, yes, I did. Which is why for every single point you brought up, I've heard this shit before, and I had a video from my own channel ready to go, except for ones from the ISS because, as you know, I'm not Elon Musk. But besides that, I did everything on my own. I did these verifications on my own. I did these measurements on my fucking own. I learned the math. I did the observations. I have people that did it with me. You can do the same thing too if you just get your head out of your ass and leave this cult fucking mind mentality that the Earth is somehow flat because Muhammad book. Which is, by the way, where it originated.
Well, I'm taking it back to the thermosphere.
The Hollywood propaganda that has been fed to you since birth is not a mentality at all.
I didn't go to NASA for my verification.
Keep the saber on. Back up there, Sean.
I verified it for myself. NASA did not tell me. No, NASA didn't tell me that the International Space Station. No. NASA did not tell me that the International Space Station was. I verified it for myself. NASA didn't tell me that the moon was so far away. I verified it for myself. NASA didn't tell me how far away the sun was. I verified, and so did Logic.
You know the size and distance? You've done these?
Oh yeah, I've done these. It's called a parallax measurement thanks to Mercury. Video coming soon, guys.
A parallax? No, that's still assuming the size of Mercury.
No, the size of Mercury is irrelevant to the parallax of Mercury, you dipshit. The size of Mercury is irrelevant.
Assuming the size and distance of a ball.
No, none of those were an assumption. None of those. We were actually able to verify that not only is the sun way the fuck further away than where the fuck you think it is, which actually makes sense given the angular size doesn't change, but we were also able to show that, once again, the nameless, faceless they you don't believe are actually the one telling the truth. The people who are actually telling the truth, you don't want to believe. And the people that are feeding you this mountain of bullshit, you're gobbling that shit up like it was shinola.
But you're assuming that it's still one atom ISS at a time, which
that's not an assumption.
That the atmosphere extends past the moon, which would assume
it's not an atmosphere. It's not an atmosphere. It's a geocorona, which is a diffuse cloud of hydrogen atoms. That is not the same as the type of atmosphere that planes fly through. Not only that,
previously known.
Previously known, but it's not to the extent that the entire globe Earth model is fucking debunked, you dipshit. You're making a mountain out of a molehill. That's what you're doing. You're exaggerating shit way the fuck out of proportion, and you think that this is evidence for something? You won't believe NASA, ESA, JAXA, ULA, Boeing, Roscosmos, or Sierra Nevada Corporation, but you'll believe them when they say something that you can misinterpret to back up your flat Earth bullshit, right? How's that for special pleading? How's that for cherry picking? How's that for being intellectually dishonest?
I'm sorting to swears and insults, so...
That was a paragraph I just typed to him.
Wow, you, sir, are intellectually dishonest as fuck, and I hope you break out of it someday. Because this type of shit where you're making...
He just called me dishonest as fuck.
That these people who are on the internet, who will lie about gyro
I'm just quoting them.
Observations and sweep shit under the rug, who will destroy evidence, even though, there's a documentary showing that, hey, if we release this information that the Earth rotates 15 degrees per hour, we were able to directly measure this with a ring laser gyro, it would be bad. Don't let this out. Oh shit, there's a fucking thing.
He's not defending God here.
People, the only people that are lying to you are the flat earthers.
Earth's atmosphere extends around the moon.
Atmosphere. It's not an atmosphere.
Yes, they said it was.
That the person who wrote the headline is not scientifically literate and ergo.
Okay, so they're arguing with the article. They're arguing with NASA. Take it up with NASA.
So they need to argue with Neil deGrasse Tyson.
I'm telling you this as a fact. I'm telling you this as a fact. The people who are actually lying to you are the people who are feeding you this flat Earth bullshit. They are the actual liars in here. They're the ones actually scamming people. They're the ones taking you for a fool, and you are gobbling their lie up. Those are the real liars here. Those are the people who go out of their way to feed you bullshit story.
What the fuck are you doing, you dumb shit?
You think that you know something that nobody else does. The only thing that you're doing is you're feeding into their
honestly,
lies.
I think Sean has made Reds look the worst he's ever looked, actually.
You really think so? You really think, this has been working?
Well, no, just because I know Sean, Reds is not handling Sean very well, actually. It kind of looks like he is. But
we get NASA gets half a
not
penny.
totally,
We get a window to the goddamn universe. You're damn fucking right. I'm so proud of that money. In fact, I wish they would get me.
I'm with you on that.
I got.
Feed you more bullshit.
No, more science.
I'm totally Ralph Macchioing him right now.
yeah, I'm in the Hangout chat with a direct
NASA
just messaging Sean directly.
Oh. Okay.
Hey, Jared, correct me if I'm wrong here.
No, fuck you. Reds Rhetoric, fuck off.
It's I'm so you're the best around. Nothing's ever gonna keep you down.
Well, a couple minutes ago when they were talking about the ISS and stuff like that and the heat and everything, and Reds was actually saying that the ISS is hitting one atom and then another atom and then another. Are you fucking kidding me?
You say when and how frequent, and he's only assuming those numbers.
One atom hitting trillions of atoms. Trillions of atoms.
Even though it's been verified independent from NASA, nope, fuck that. It's all lies. That's called special pleading.
And don't forget, guys, with what science is telling us now about moon being in our atmosphere, technically ISS is actually traveling through a gaseous cloud of hydrogen, so there is stuff for it to burn against.
Compared to a space station that's the size of a fucking football field. Scale is not your friend here.
Okay. All right, well, thank you for your time. I'm going to head out. You have a great evening.
Sounds good.
Reds is the one that thinks he can see a football field from 230,000 miles.
message that some people in the chat offered for him.
Well, actually, we're going to do this one better. So for those of you, can I actually post this link in the live chat and we can filter who comes in and who doesn't?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go ahead and open this up to everyone else in the...
Tear it up, dude.
Reds, let me on. I'll straighten your ass out.
GB, GB, Josh, let's all go in.
Yeah.
Do you want to? Let's smash him.
Yeah, do it, guys.
Dude.
Go in. Go in.
Yes.
Get him.
I will if you'll let us. I'll fucking go on and finish this.
Yeah, this
because I heard a
bullshit
bunch of
is-
shit while he was talking that, like, I'm just sitting there going, Sean, you know this, Sean, come on, like,
tear it up. Let's do it right now.
It's not painful. Yeah, do it.
You know the weight of something just by looking at it. You got to call that bullshit.
That's Jimmy.
Fuck.
My camera.
or how about you know the weight of something by the color that it is? Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, dude, when he made the comment about, oh, so I'm going to need to know what's in the box, to know what it weighs.
Dread.
It's like, yes.
Dread.
Yeah.
Dread.
He said the
go on,
ISS
then.
wasn't in
Dread,
Hey,
smash
what?
him.
What? Oh, you guys want me to?
Yes, please. It would be
Yes.
classic right now.
Yes, Dredd, please.
I'll do it.
You guys and Jared, go. And you, Mel.
For this, yeah, we could take turns.
I'd love to see him and Dread just.
Yes.
I'll eat that bitch alive, but you know,
I know
I'm not
you
here to
would.
fucking, you know,
Get
I
in
would.
there. You
I'd like
stream
to
it from
see
here,
Jibby
Mel.
in there. Honestly, I'd like to tag Jibby in or Josh, definitely.
Go for it.
I just got back from the dentist, and I'm just. And my face is. I don't
Oh
really
my
feel
God,
like
I've been-
debating right now. I'm kind of
That's
sore.
cool.
Oh, you probably feel like you got hit in the face with a baseball bat right now, dude.
Yeah, well, not that bad, but yeah, I'm not exactly in the mood for a lot of talking and yelling and shit.
Fucking hell, that ain't like you, Dreads.
Hey, what?
That's not like you.
No, I know, but I'm not 100% at the moment here. I just
Yes,
spent
you
literally
can.
2 hours at the dentist, 2.5 hours, and I'm just I don't feel good, and I don't feel like debating right now.